Hello, everybody in Today All Day Land. Thank you for being with us again for another exciting edition of Today in 30.
You know what you're doing. You're watching our digital show. We give you the best of today. We do it in 30 minutes, so let's break it down. SG, what do we have up first?
All right, first, there are new concerns about COVID and kids, and as this Delta strain is surging, the number of daily cases has actually doubled in the last 3 weeks. So we're going to have a full report on all of that for you.
Then, after that historic trip to space on Sunday, billionaire Richard Branson and his crewmate joined us to talk about all of it. It's an interview you do not want to miss.
Plus, you also, this is a big week for you, Hoda. You sat down with the moms of Team USA women's gymnastics. You had some party crashers, a couple of pretty cute party crashers.
Adorable ones. You'll know them both by name. Plus, it's Wednesday, so that means it's Trendsday. So we're breaking down all the hot topics for you.
I love me a Trendsday. Sounds like
do.
a packed one. We should get started. It's only 30 minutes.
All right. Today in 30.
Let's do it.
Now to new concerns about COVID and kids with summer camp in full swing and the beginning of the school year closer than you may think. New numbers show that of the 25 million kids old enough to get the vaccine, only about a third have received it. And this comes as the Delta strain is surging. The number of daily cases now doubling in the last 3 weeks. NBC national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has the very latest. Hey, Miguel, good morning.
Hoda, good morning. The CDC has made it clear they want all schools to fully reopen, and they want any child who's not vaccinated to wear a mask on campus. But most states don't have uniform mask rules, and many have disregarded those guidelines completely. This, as we fear, we could see a spike in cases this fall.
This morning, as COVID wards reopen in hard-hit hospitals and outbreaks fueled by the Delta variant spread across rural communities and big cities, there's growing worry over protecting the young. New clusters of cases at summer camps are fueling concern.
To help that person.
Just as 28 million school-age kids under 12, who are still likely months away from qualifying for a vaccine, get set to soon return to the classroom.
A big worry right now is there doesn't seem to be a plan.
Parents say they're frustrated by conflicting messages, though the CDC says any student who's not vaccinated needs a mask at school. Most states have no uniform plan to require them. A few states have even passed laws prohibiting schools from doing so. Of the 25 million children old enough for vaccination, roughly a third are fully inoculated.
There's no way for me to know whether my child will have a normal school year next year.
Meanwhile, in a sign of political struggle over vaccines, in Tennessee, after pressure from state lawmakers, the health department will stop outreach to adolescents about all vaccines, not just the COVID shot, according to a report based on internal documents in the Tennessean newspaper. But the threat isn't going away nationwide. Mississippi's Department of Health officer says 7 children there are currently in the ICU, 2 on life support. But doctors say most children so far haven't shown severe illness.
It is not leading to higher levels of hospitalizations or deaths that we can see so far.
As authorities struggle to convince 98 million Americans to get vaccinated, new infections fueled by Delta are on the rise in over half the country. While many of the newly sick chose not to get protected, this morning children under 12 don't have that choice, but now face the same risk.
Hi to everyone watching Today in 30.
And check out our interview with Hoda. 2 astronauts.
We are joined now by Richard Branson and
I love that picture of Sarita looking out down at the
I got chills just reading all that about you. And before we get into the flight, because I can't wait to get into it, something that Tom Costello said yesterday struck me about you. He said, by your own count, you have cheated death 75 times. 75 times. So I was curious, what's the closest you've come, and why do you keep doing these things that put you so close to the edge?
Well, first of all, I have a very friendly star up there that seems to somehow get me home. I think the closest, I suspect, was in some of those big balloon adventures when I think I've got the record for being pulled out of the sea 5 times by helicopters.
5 times.
But the reason I do it is I just find that saying yes is a hell of a lot more fun than saying no. And if somebody says, you know, we could be the first to fly around the world in a balloon, or we can do this magnificent challenge that nobody's been able to do before, I'm damned if I'm going to watch it on telly and watch somebody else do it. I just want to test myself and see what I'm capable of. And
well, how did this flight compare to all of those things that we just shared?
This flight was 17 years in the making, with 800 wonderful engineers. So it wasn't, it wasn't risky in the same way that ballooning or boating was. It was, quite magnificent, and it's a dream. It was just a dream come true for all of us, just being able to create a space line that hopefully quite a few of the people who are watching this show one day will go up on and become astronauts. And Peter Pan was my favourite character as a kid. Flying in the spacecraft, seeing Sarisha below, flying alongside me. I mean, it was magnificent.
Sarisha, I got to tell you, I don't know if you looked happier when you were floating next to Richard or when you were on his shoulders. It looked like such a moment in your life, and I couldn't help but think of all the young girls who were looking at you and saying, "Man, maybe one day, maybe one day." So what has this experience meant to you?
It's been incredible. So I have wanted to be an astronaut since I was young. And I wanted to go the traditional route, but then I have really bad eyesight. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to get there. And around that same time, Richard actually announced that he was creating Virgin Galactic. And it was going to be a space line for everyone and make space accessible for everyone. And I remember thinking that's how I'm going to get to space. And fast forward to today, I joined Virgin Galactic for this purpose to hopefully open up space for everyone. And
Look what I carried. This is Sarisha's. What Sarisha has, her astronaut wings.
Wow. Congratulations. What a moment. There are no accidents in life, I don't think, and there's a reason that you guys teamed up. Now, Jeff Bezos is going up on Tuesday. Are you so happy you beat him up? You beat him up there.
I'm happy that he's going to have the most unbelievable experience and the team with him. I think Teresa says we want to make space available to all, and we've just launched something called through a wonderful organisation called Amaze to try to get hundreds of people, give them the chance of going to space for nothing. So, a little $10, you can have a chance to get yourself and a friend to go to space, and then the money will just go towards making opportunity for more and more people in the time to come.
I just have to quickly address the critics who, some of them are saying, well, wow, these ultra-rich guys are spending a lot of dough to go up into space for kind of a joy ride, when there are things that really need attention, the pandemic, climate change, poverty, and all of those things. How do you answer those critics?
Just simply by saying I 100% agree that people who are in positions of wealth and should spend most of their money, 90% or more of their money, trying to tackle these issues. But we should also create new industries that can create 800 engineers and scientists who can create wonderful things that can make space accessible at a fraction of the environmental cost that it's been in the past. I mean, just to give you a quick idea, the environmental cost of us sending people from an air launch system into space is the same as one round trip on a Virgin Atlantic flight to London and back. And that's just reduced the cost dramatically. And then these scientists can do wonderful things in space.
Yeah, so when I was flying, my role was actually to test research capabilities. We now have the capability to send researchers up with their experiments. Typically, they would hand an astronaut at NASA or another agency their experiment with instructions, but now they can fly with it. So on this last flight, I actually, if you look at some of the footage, you see me messing with this tube.
Yeah.
I'm actually performing a science experiment in space.
Wow.
It's weird to say that.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Lastly, you're turning 71 on Sunday. Do you have a next goal? Is there a next thing on the horizon for you, Richard?
Well, I mean, you mentioned there's a lot of problems in the world, and I think the next sort of 25 years of my life is going to be using organizations we set up, like the Elders and the Oceanic Elders and the B Team and the Carbon War Room, to tackle those problems. And you know, the fact that I've got a slightly higher profile today than I did yesterday will make it that much easier for me to pick up the phone and try to get some of these problems solved.
Well, we are cheering you on. It looked like a lot of fun up there in space, and you learned a lot, too. Thank you so much to both of you. I wish you guys good luck. Hey, are you watching Today in 30? Of course you are. Okay, I got a cool interview I think you're going to like. I got to sit down with the moms of the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team. They are amazing human beings. They raised Olympians, and we wondered, like, what's in the water at their house? Well, find out when you listen to the interview.
Our great bounce off the table, world-class landing. Wow, that was spectacular right there. Without a doubt, the greatest of all time.
The sensational 6 women on the U.S. Olympics gymnastics team are ready to take on Tokyo. And when the gymnasts step into that international spotlight,
hand on heart,
the fans cheering the loudest here at home will be those who have been there since their very first cartwheel. Simone Biles' mom, Nellie, Jordan Child's mom, Gina, Suni Lee's mom, Yang, Grace McCullum's mom, Sandy, Michaela Skinner's mom, Kim, and Jade Carey's mom, Danielle. I just like looking at my screen right now because I'm looking at the mothers of Olympians. I just want to know what it feels like to be in this moment. Kim, let me start with you.
It's totally amazing. It's surreal. So happy that Michaela finally did this and made her dream. It's awesome. We're so excited to be a part of this team.
A great team with 2 women who decided to crash our interview. I want everyone to pause for a second and look behind Nellie. I see Biles and Childs. Biles and Ron. Hey, Ron, it's Olympic moms, babe. This is Olympic moms. Oh my God. Nellie, I know you've been down this beautiful road before, but how does it feel this time around?
It's still a surreal feeling. It doesn't get old. It just feels this time around even more special.
Danielle, when your daughter was little, how did you know? How did you know that she wasn't going to be just someone who enjoyed gymnastics, but somebody who might be competing at this level?
I believe she was about 4 years old. Her dad and I were watching TV, and all of a sudden, boop, there goes a cartwheel. And we looked at each other, and I said, "Did you teach her that?" And he said, "No." "Did you?" And I said, "No." And so I think we kind of knew at that point, uh-oh.
These moms have dedicated years to supporting from the stands, but that doesn't mean it's easy to watch when it's their daughter's turn to compete. I watched Gina move in the stands. Gina, you're moving with Jordan. You're like, over here, now I'm over here. How nerve-wracking is it watching your daughter compete?
It's awful. I wish there was a way to support without physically having to watch it. I always say I wish I could just blink my eyes and then know the outcome, but the outcome be good.
Well, you named her Jordan after Michael Jordan. So, I mean, she was destined, don't you think? She was destined for greatness.
Oh, absolutely.
By the way, I love the Biles-Childs thing, Nellie. I watched Simone support Jordan. I like the bond between them. Tell us about that.
Simone really pushes because she pushes herself, and I see her doing the same thing too with Jordan, and that bond has just, I mean, they fight, believe me, they do fight, and then we don't get in the way. I don't get in the way because the next minute, I mean, they're hugging. That's a special relationship that they have.
I'm sure people are looking at this widescreen and saying, I want to raise an Olympian. Like, what was in the water? What did they do? So, Sandy, what did you do?
Honestly, we were just looking for an outlet for Grace because we found her one day trying to climb the brick on our fireplace. And she was a really shy kid. And so we were just looking for a way for her to get out and meet other people and not hang on her mom's leg all the time. And the minute she walked in the gym, she's like, I'm home.
The road to the Olympics has been far from easy for these families. I know that your daughter, Suni, has been through a lot. Your husband was paralyzed from just a horrible fall. You've lost loved ones to COVID, and yet there she stands.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that she actually made it this far. I'm just super proud that she actually made it. I
was just thinking about you guys because you've been there for every meet, and in this particular moment, you won't be able to be present in the arena to witness this moment. How are you dealing with that?
We're going to have a huge party and just get a bunch of people together and watch. But it's very disappointing.
For Gina, these Olympic Games are also a tough moment. She pleaded guilty to wire fraud last year and is scheduled to report to prison the day of the women's team final.
Every moment that I watch Jordan is the most amazing moment as a mom. And so I just am looking at it as not bittersweet, but just a sweet period that she's here.
I'm looking at you and I'm seeing your little girls in your eyes right now, and it's totally blowing my mind. If you just had a phrase or something for your little girl before she embarks in, in this moment, what would it be?
I definitely will tell Simone to be the best Simone.
Our common saying is, you got this. Just go out there and do your best.
Go out there and have fun, Do like the way you practice.
Do your best, forget everything else. You've earned this moment.
I tell her every time, I just say, go kill it. And have fun.
She worked so hard to get here, and just enjoy the whole experience. Take it all in and show people that you really love what you do, and just have fun.
The new series Dr. Death tells a true story of a neurosurgeon named Christopher Dunch who paralyzed and even killed some of his patients.
Joshua Jackson takes on the chilling role. Now, in the program, he's just started at a new hospital in Dallas and is about to perform spinal surgery.
But when he meets Dr. Kotb, played by Christian Slater, things don't exactly start off on the right foot.
Yeah, what passes for neurosurgery down here is a sham. I'm here to nuke this place into the future.
Wow, well, you impress me. Usually it takes surgeons at least a good decade to refine their God complex.
Christopher D. Dunch, MD, PhD.
Randy, so do they have to enlarge the door to get your northern head into the building?
I'm from Tennessee.
North of Texas is north.
Ah! Joshua and Christian join us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
We're happy to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Josh, let's start with you, because this show, it's so terrifying, especially knowing it's based on a true story. Had you heard about this story before you took on the role?
No, the first conversation that I had about this story was with Patrick McManus, the showrunner, executive producer, and he gave me the broad overview, but what he really said was, you need to go listen to the podcast, because there's an amazing podcast around this story. And then once you listen to that, come back and talk to me. And it is, you're right, it's an absolutely chilling, terrifying story. And this man, Christopher Dunch, he's an outlier, but just a fascinatingly evil human being.
And even more so because these are both real folks that you're portraying. And Christian, you actually were able to speak with Dr. Kotb, the guy you portray, and we're supposed to spend a little time with him, but that got canceled because of the pandemic.
Correct. Yeah, I was going to fly to Dallas. We were all set to start shooting the show, and I was going to spend the weekend with him and his family, and unfortunately COVID hit, so I wasn't able to do that. I did meet him recently at the Tribeca Film Festival, and he was lovely, very passionate guy, and you really have to look at Dr. Kotb and Dr. Henderson as two heroes who are willing to put their careers on the line to stop somebody from doing something that's just so heinous.
Insane. And speaking of the pandemic, I know you filmed the show Smack in the Middle of COVID. And Josh, you say it actually added to the show. What did you mean by that?
I think the sense of dread, frankly, that we were all during we were right in the teeth of it through the fall and winter. And I think that added to the sense of claustrophobia and discomfort that you see on screen.
Makes sense.
And Christian, you mentioned Dr. Henderson is actually played by Alec Baldwin. So a lot of your scenes were shot with him. What was it like between you two on set? I'd imagine there's some levity behind, a really dark story.
No,
yes.
They took it very serious.
That's right. No, look, Alec Baldwin, we all know and love Alec Baldwin. And to get the opportunity to spend so much time with him was a great experience. Most of the levity came from the surgery surgical scenes because, as much research as we did, I have a brother-in-law who's a vascular surgeon, so I was able to go to Baltimore and see him actually perform in the operating theater. But when it came down to it, my skills I'm so inept in the surgery that was quite hilarious.
Hey, Josh, I noticed you quaffing a little liquid out of that new mug that says Dad. You and your wife welcoming a baby girl last year. Yeah. How's fatherhood doing?
It's amazing. If I had known how wonderful it is, I would have done it sooner.
I was just saying the same thing with Carson.
Oh, that's so cool. And just so you know, Josh, I long to sit in one of those chairs on your shirt. I'm like, wherever that is, that's where I want to be. Christian, you also have an almost 2-year-old at home. You did a lot of voiceover work.
Wait.
No,
I messed it up.
I was like, there's your phone number, 555. That's so cute. So wait, how did you juggle during the pandemic? And then you did that voiceover work.
Yeah, I did some voiceover work to keep busy, but, having a baby in the middle of all of it, that was kind of the silver lining of the whole situation. Usually I spend so much time traveling and don't get a lot of time to spend at home. So I was able to really develop a strong foundation here with this wonderful 2-year-old daughter.
Aww. Well, congratulations on everything, guys. The family, the show. Christian, Joshua, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good.
Thanks
good project.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Dr. Death starts streaming tomorrow on Peacock, which, of course, is our parent company, part of our parent company, NBC Universal.
We love to have fun around here, so it brings us to our favorite day, Trendsday Wednesday.
Yeah, that's when our pal Justin Sylvester drops in with all the scoop we can handle. Although, Justin, put your seatbelts on because there's this racy show that I thought, what is happening under there? Is it a fan?
So sorry, guys. Sorry. My skirt is doing that weird thing that Donna's was doing around Mark Wahlberg. He must be somewhere on the premises. Let me go ahead and just take this off real quick.
Oh, my God. Justin, you're hilarious.
So Jenna came in the other day, Justin, and she was talking about this show. It's like I think it's a sex show.
Can we present it correctly? Justin, let me start at the beginning. Hoda recommended a show to me
called Love Sick.
That I thought she said sex ed. So then when somebody else told me, have you heard about the show called Sex Life? I said, yes, my friend Hoda Kotb recommended it to me. I put it on Twitter. I put it out there.
I didn't know Hoda.
No, she did it.
Mine was a different one, but however, I feel like I might have picked the wrong one. So
let's just go ahead and say
let's
this
get
is
your
not
take
for
on
kids, okay?
Okay, for everybody out there who doesn't know what Sex Life is, do you remember in the airport where you had to hide when you were reading 50 Shades of Grey and you had to put a different, book jacket over it? Now you have to hide binge watching Sex Life. Except if you share Netflix passwords like we all do, all your friends know exactly what episode your freaky butt is on, okay? Now, big fat disclaimer, this is not your family show. Jenna, I know if you watched it because I know you have my password and I see where your freaky butt is.
Your password. I love Justin. I watched it on an airplane.
She had to hide her
next
pad.
to a lovely woman reading a book.
She was not reading a book, honey. She was looking over your shoulder because she knows exactly what's going on. For you guys who have not seen it, like Hoda and I, and you haven't burned your virgin eyes, the series is about a suburban housewife and a mother of 2 who is bored with her life and starts vividly reminiscing about her past wilder days and one former flame in particular. Now, this is full of nudity and full of sex scenes. There is one particular scene. I have not seen it, but I think it's in episode 3,
Yeah, I've
19
seen it.
minutes, 20 seconds into the show. Yes, Jenna, you are correct. But don't quote me on that because I have not seen it.
Yes, you have seen it.
He's teasing. He's ripping
Wait, you guys, this is how crazy it is.
What?
It's so jaw-dropping.
Did you die?
Justin, you're always
you have your pearls on.
He's clutching
I am
them.
clutching my pearls, just thinking about the scene, okay?
Is it true that they're dating in real life, those stars?
The passion was so real, these 2 could not keep their hands off each other.
The boyfriend and
the boyfriend and the wife.
Yes, and Adam Demos are now a real-life couple.
I'm watching it.
Literally, I work at NBC. I can't even say hello to somebody I work with without getting HR called to me. How did these 2 manage it at Netflix?
By the way, you're funny.
Oh, my gosh, we love
Thank you.
I can't stand it. Today and 30. It's so big. Well, you know what? Let's do it again tomorrow. Let's just do it again tomorrow.
All right, we got a biggie. You know who we have? Chip and Joanna Gaines. They'll be here.
What? Sounds like it's going to be epic. So much fun. We'll see you Thursday morning right here on Today in 30.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.